The year is 1470. High in the jagged mountains of Thessaly, a single church bell rings into the cold air. For the last time, its echo rolls across a valley that will soon forget the sound forever. Inside the isolated convent of St. Catherine, 23 women kneel shoulder to shoulder on stone worn smooth by centuries of prayer. Their lips move in perfect rhythm, reciting words learned so deeply they no longer require thought. But this morning, the words feel wrong, brittle, tasting of ash and farewell. Outside the thick stone walls, the horizon burns red, not with sunrise, but with the banners of an empire that has already swallowed half the known world. The Ottoman army does not advance with chaos. It flows silently, like molten iron, erasing identity as easily as borders. Sister Elani, the abbess, grips a silver crucifix passed down through generations. Her hands tremble, not from fear, but from certainty. She knows what is coming. They all do. What they cannot imagine is that death would have been mercy, because what happens next will never appear in the history books you studied. It will not be taught, celebrated, or mourned. It will be buried, erased, reduced to numbers and silence. This is not conquest. This is a methodical experiment in erasure, one historians are only now beginning to uncover. And the question is not whether the truth is disturbing, but whether you are willing to remember it. To understand what happens to these women, we must go back 17 years to 1453, the Fall of Constantinople. 53 days of cannon fire and blood ended a city that had stood for over 1,000 years. Within hours, the Hagia Sophia was stripped of its crosses. Its bells were melted down, its hymns silenced. Within days, the call to prayer echoed from domes where Christian voices had sung for 9 centuries. Sultan Mehmed II stood inside that ancient church and understood something most conquerors never grasp. Killing people does not destroy a civilization. Making them forget who they are does. Massacre creates martyrs. Martyrs inspire songs. Songs preserve memory. So, Mehmed chose something cleaner: disappearance. No songs, no stories, no legends. By 1470, this strategy had been refined across Greece, the Balkans, and Anatolia. Monasteries vanished without fire, convents emptied without graves, and the convent of St. Catherine, remote, undefended, became another test. Inside were not warriors, only women of prayer. Sister Magdalena, 19 years old, hands still calloused from her father's farm. Sister Theodorus, 70, long past fear of death. And Sister Elani, abbess for 12 years, once a healer in villages that no longer exist. None had ever held a weapon, yet at dawn, the first cannonball strikes. Not the chapel, the bell tower. Stone explodes. Iron screams. A century of prayer is silenced in one violent breath. Sister Elani does not scream. She raises her crucifix and begins to sing. Kyrie Ellison. One by one, 23 voices rise against the roar of empire. The empire does not listen. By midday, the gates are breached. Ottoman soldiers enter not as warriors, but as clerks, counting, recording, cataloging human beings as assets. A decree is read. Conversion brings protection. Refusal brings consequences. Sister Elani steps forward calmly. "Tell your sultan," she says, "we have already given our lives to a king and have nothing left to surrender." Hassan Pasha, a name preserved in Ottoman military records, smiles, not in anger, but in understanding, because the Ottomans have perfected the art of breaking people without killing them. That night, the sisters are locked inside their chapel. No food, no water, only darkness and waiting. Two of the youngest begin to weep. Sister Magdalena whispers a psalm. "The Lord is my shepherd." Another joins, then another. The weeping stops. This is what the Ottomans miscalculate. These women have trained for suffering their entire lives. Fasting, cold vigils, silence. What soldiers call torture, they call discipline. On the second day, bread and water are offered. Clean, tempting. They refuse. Hunger over submission. On the third day, Hassan Pasha enters himself. "You are not criminals," he says. "The Sultan is merciful. Speak the words and live." Then he offers an alternative, a journey to Constantinople. "Mercy," he says quietly, "but the road is long, and the weak do not survive it." Sister Elani looks at her sisters. "We will walk." The smile returns. They leave at dawn. No carts, no horses, just sun, dust, and distance doing the work of execution. One by one, the weaker sisters fall, buried by the roadside with bare hands, while names are crossed from a ledger. By the seventh day, only 18 remain. They walk in silence. Not surrender, decision. At the coast, Sister Elani is taken aside. What happens next is not recorded by the Ottomans, but a Venetian merchant writes what he saw. She returned dressed in silk, paraded as a convert, alive in body, emptied in spirit. Her lips still moved in silent Latin prayer. The empire does not want martyrs. It wants ghosts. The survivors are chained to a galley and shipped to Constantinople, listed not by name, but by number, delivered to imperial service beneath the palace, in tunnels that officially do not exist. By day, they scrub floors and carry water. By night, they remember. In a forgotten room, they scratch crosses into stone with broken pottery and bleeding fingers. They whisper psalms from memory, steal crumbs for communion. They carve proof of existence one mark at a time, until the scratches grow erratic, and then stop. Ottoman records from 1482 record only a cleansing of resistant staff. No names, no graves, just one word: disposed. Centuries later, archaeologists break through a false wall beneath Topkapi Palace. They find the crosses, and 4 Latin words barely visible in stone: Lux in tenebris lucet. The light shines in the darkness. Empires fall. Decrees fade. Ledgers rot. But marks carved in desperation survive. History is written by victors, but memory belongs to those who refuse to disappear. And now that you have heard them, their silence is no longer complete.